The following is a production of WEGL 91.1 FM.
That ball is gone! It's a walk-off home run for Stephen Williams!
WEGL Sports,
The Tigers are headed to the College World Series!
where every
Touchdown Auburn! Zakoby McClain!
game
They're not gonna keep him off the field tonight! Holy cow!
lives. And welcome into another edition of Xtra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and WEGLFM.com. Hello everybody, Jared Dillard, and joining me from wherever they may be is Davis Carroll, Alex Houston, and Jack Hart. Now, before we do anything, I want to do one thing before we get started with the show, and just see how everybody is doing. Okay, are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Do you know what we need to do?
Not really.
Gonna throw something at me again?
How's he gonna do that?
Honestly, if I could, I would. But first, we need to sing happy birthday for a certain birthday boy. Okay?
Oh my gosh. Jared, it was yesterday.
I don't care. Are you ready?
I'm not really sure if I want to hear you and Davis harmonize, so
Jack's also harmonizing.
Jack has a golden
I'm sure
voice.
Jack's got a killer singing voice. It's just
Jared was on the Christmas album. Pretty sure Jack was too.
We don't talk about that.
Yes, you mention it every single time.
Davis, lead us
Oh.
off.
No, I don't want to lead it off.
Jack, lead us off.
God.
Happy
Happy birthday to
To
you.
you.
Happy birthday to you.
you.
Happy
birthday,
birthday, dear
dear
Alex. Happy birthday to you.
Thank
How
you
old are you
guys.
again?
That was perfect. What?
How old are you?
I'm 20.
He's 16.
Unfortunate.
So
We'll get him next year, boys.
I'm about 40 years younger than you, Jared.
All right.
That's a funny one.
Let's calm
'cause Jared's
down.
old. That's funny.
Let's calm down.
Hey, Davis, shut up. All right, I don't want to hear it.
All right. So, welcome inside Extra Point here on WEGL 911 and WEGLFM.com. Hello, everybody. Jared Dillard. Davis, how you doing this fine morning?
A little tired, but just chilling. And my heart's kind of cold because it's kind of chilly outside, so that's good.
Alex, how about you? After
Yeah,
that beautiful rendition that we did.
No,
yeah, I
okay.
was actually doing pretty good before that, My fantasy team won yesterday, and I got to watch The Prestige last night. Very good movie. 10 out of 10 would recommend. But,
Don't know
I'm
the
doing pretty
movie.
solid.
Jack, how about you? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, Jared. It continues to be unseasonably cool. Making me a little nervous.
Something's happening.
Something's up.
Something's brewing.
Something is changing in the weather.
mean-
Wait, isn't it officially fall today? Or am I wrong on that?
Today's the first day.
Yes, it is.
Did the groundhog do something?
I mean,
It's the first day of fall, boys.
it's just teeing us up for an 85-degree December.
That means now that the fall is here, I can finally go back to wearing jackets normally because I obviously don't do that already. So,
I can wear sweatpants outside without people judging me now.
do people judge you when you wear sweatpants outside?
When it's like 90 degrees out, yeah.
That's like half the Auburn University student base that does that on a normal day.
I feel like half is wearing AFCOs, and I'm part of that half, I'm not going to lie.
Well, nobody said you had good fashion taste, but let's go ahead
I
and
didn't
open
either.
up the show. Let's go ahead and start first thing first with Monday Night Football as the Las Vegas Raiders christened their Death Star with a win, taking down one of the NFC's best teams in the New Orleans Saints, 34-24. Derek Carr having a field day, and it all was capped off by a Daniel Carlson field goal that put it out of reach. And the Raiders don't blink, but they are 2-0. And I have to wonder, how far this win will carry that franchise that needed a little bit of boost because they seem like they were always middling in the middle of the road, not sure which way they were going to fall. But this is a big win for this Raiders franchise. What are the initial reactions from the Raiders win?
I mean, me personally, my initial reaction is always that like the first 3 weeks of the NFL season are always just totally out of whack and up in the air, and rarely an indication of how things are actually going to end up sometimes. Because I mean, every year there's always these games in the beginning of the year that just don't make any sense. Like the Saints should not have lost to the Raiders, like without Michael Thomas or not, they shouldn't have lost to them. And I don't know. And it's like the Cardinals beating the 49ers last week. Like I know Kyler Murray's good and that team is obviously has a good offense, but they still probably shouldn't have won. That's
You're
just
just
how.
saying that because they beat Washington
No, not at
and you're
all. The
mad.
Cardinals should have beat Washington no matter what because Washington has no offense whatsoever. That's a given. But I mean, and now with the ACL injuries taking out multiple key players, this season is going to continue to be in flux. The Giants are probably going to end up being the worst team in the league this year. So
I don't know.
uh,
The Jets kind of have that under wraps, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree though with what you're saying about there's always a few games that aren't indicative of the team's performance. I
yeah,
think last year's the Colts Chiefs game jumps to mind, as well as maybe last year, maybe 2 years ago when the Lions beat the Patriots out of nowhere. I really was high on the Lions after that one, and they've won maybe 4 games since then.
yeah. I mean, I could pull out an anecdote about my team, but that you guys are always going to get on my neck, even though it's a valid example. Washington one year did start 3-1, then they finished 1-11. So it's the first four
Hey,
games are a little rough.
as the prophecy foretold, Washington still sucked.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, but
Congratulations.
I mean those first 4 games people were kind of shook, and then people remember that Rex Grossman was their quarterback, and that kind of ended.
Well, to be fair,
But
we're
Rex
gonna
Shelton was the Super Bowl quarterback.
Stop, stop.
to be fair to this Raiders team, we'll figure out how good they are when the next 3 games are New England, Buffalo, Kansas City, and then they take on Tampa Bay after those 3. So they definitely don't have an easy stretch. Probably one of the hardest stretches that you can find in the NFL. But turning it over to the Saints, uh, I mean, it was an okay performance. I mean, Drew Brees 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He threw over 300 yards, but that's for par for Drew Brees.
But it was a lot of checkdowns, a lot of short passes as we've seen lately. So I think he's nearing at least the end of his career, at least as one of the top quarterbacks in the league. He still is a good quarterback, but he also has a very good offense around him.
But that offense does not function extremely well without Michael Thomas to receive those slants and checkdowns.
Yeah, Davis. I mean, how bad are the Saints missing Michael Thomas right now?
I mean, yeah, they're just missing their leading slant catcher, so or their lead trash talker as well. But yeah, I mean, behind him they don't really have Emmanuel Sanders, but he's not going to get the job done as well as Michael Thomas, who flexes every time he gets a first down.
I thought it was extremely surprising that Emmanuel Sanders did not touch the ball until the fourth quarter.
He didn't?
He didn't get a reception until the final drive in garbage time after the Daniel Carlson field goal.
That is very odd.
And that's
Or
crazy for a Saints team that usually
perhaps,
shares the ball very well.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
the drive before, but it was definitely after the Raiders. I think it was the Raiders punting up 7. Was that when Emmanuel Sanders first time he caught a ball up over the middle? Which, yeah, the progressions of Drew Brees seem a little off without Michael Thomas, and perhaps maybe his limited physical ability.
I think it's safe to say right now that the NFC South is easily not the worst division in the NFL, but it's probably going to be the most chaotic division in the NFL because with the Panthers losing McCaffrey for an undisclosed amount of time, if I'm not mistaken, I
Three
didn't
to
see if there
four
were
weeks.
3 to 4
I
weeks.
saw 4
Okay,
to
so
6 weeks. So
Okay, so
again,
let's
so
go with
it's
4. That's the common denominator.
undisclosed amount of weeks. The Falcons are quite possibly one of the most confusing teams on the face of the planet. Back-to-back weeks again that happened. The Saints looked awful against the Raiders, but also beat the Bucks. It the NFC South is probably going to be the most difficult division to evaluate this year. I mean, we know which one is still the worst, the East, but the South is probably going to be the toughest one to figure out who's really going to come out on top till maybe the final 4 weeks of the season.
Mm,
I mean, which other division just really has more competition that, I mean, with you would say the West with the 49ers and the Seahawks and the Cardinals, but with who the 49ers just lost in injuries and the fact that the Seahawks look as good as they do, it's difficult to say that anybody else is going to win that other than the Seahawks.
I mean, if we're talking about competitive divisions, I feel like the AFC South has been like that for the past 3 years.
Yeah, all of them are just subpar, so they
Yeah, that's the thing.
subpar
It's like
spot.
there's a difference. Like
Fair.
you're like, oh, we're all competing to go 8-8 this year. Whoop whoop. It's
Well, one
like,
of us went
yeah,
9-7.
it's like
What?
innovation excites right there, guys. Like, no, it's not. I
It's like
mean,
Jeff Fisher ruled in that.
that
So, since we're on the topic of Monday Night Football, uh, apparently Michael Thomas was tweeting during the game,
no,
and
oh no.
he deleted those tweets. Uh, one of them being "he spooked," and then another one pretty much just saying "might get ugly fast." LOL.
That was
And
after they went up 10-0.
yeah, so
Wait,
Their
the Saints
seats
were
are
up 10
they've
to
been
nothing.
scrubbed.
Saints went up 10-0, and then before halftime, the Raiders scored twice to make it 14-10, I believe. Saints got another touchdown, make it 17-14, and then off of a turnover, I believe the Raiders made it 17 all, or maybe they got the field goal first in that order. So it was 17-17 at halftime. After it was a lot like the Iron Bowl, where it was careening towards a really low scoring game, and then a combination of big plays and turnovers right before half gave both teams a quick touchdown. So it was 17 all at half. Raiders came out, got the ball, scored immediately to make it 24-17, which the score remained until the fourth quarter. They actually absolutely shut down Drew Brees in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, it was all Raiders until the very end with about 4 minutes left. I believe the Saints scored again.
yeah, really, if you think about it, it's not that the Saints lost by 10. It's that after they shot out the cannon, they got outscored 34-14 by the Raiders of all teams.
They came out swinging, and then their offense just sputtered for the entire evening, and it was a combination of Henry Ruggs and Josh Jacobs just pounding the rock. That you know on the broadcast last night, they kept using the term "bell cow back," which is what John Gruden is a term loves to use. And that's exactly what Josh Jacobs is becoming for the Raiders, and John Gruden is that bell cow back. They can a lot like Christian McCaffrey, where he just has a very high percentage of on the field snaps. So on any given play, there's a potential for Josh Jacobs to pick up the ball, receive it, take it, read option, play action, any kind of with a dynamic offense with Derek Carr looking as accurate as he did last night, which there were questions about whether or not he was able to continue success in the league. With what we saw from last night, it looks like that it's a dangerous backfield for Las Vegas now. When you factor in the new acquisition of Aguilar, over the middle throws to Hunter Renfro, and then maybe even a Jason Witten reception here and there, it's a pretty dynamic Oakland Raiders offense, or Las Vegas Raiders. I did it.
No, you said it
It's
right the
hard,
first time. Don't worry.
it's hard to stop.
Speaking of Las Vegas, what was the? How did you guys like the look of the new stadium? I mean, I know there's no fans in it, but I mean, it's very sleek. It's very nice looking.
Very swanky.
The big window to the Las Vegas Strip is very cool. The wraparound scoreboards look great. Maybe it's because there was no fans, but when there was a touchdown scored, it looked like the word touchdown was being emitted from maybe 400 different places in this around the stadium from all the wraparound video boards. It also looks really cool from the outside, right there next to the interstate, and it just looks like a flying saucer landed on the Las Vegas Strip, and as well as they also have the retractable field that same as the Arizona Cardinals have in order to grow real grass inside in a way, and I believe that gets replaced with artificial turf for the running Rebels of UNLV. So winner to the situation is UNLV, who now has
That's
the coolest home stadium in college football.
That's
that's
true.
true. It'll never be full, but it'll be cool.
It'll never be full, but damn it, they're gonna try, and they're gonna
I
try
mean, yeah, that's
hard.
true. That's true. I will say it's. I
Shout out to
mean,
UNLV.
the Raider Stadium is good, but it still looks like a Roomba. Still looks like
I
a
mean,
Roomba.
that's a cool looking Roomba. I want a Roomba,
I want a
but
You should get a
Roomba.
Roomba.
Get a
no,
DJ Roomba.
my house has like one step, like you step down into different rooms, so the Roomba would just like fall on top of itself, trying to do stuff. Really
Maybe we could
sad.
do a flip.
Fatality.
Yeah, if he could do a flip, then sure, but for right now, he won't be able to. Well, Monday Night Football in the books. That means week 2 of the NFL season is over. Is it lights out already, Alex? Oh, okay.
No,
Week
not at
2 of the
all.
NFL
Don't
season is
worry.
over, and that means we're looking on to Thursday Night Football. If you don't know, it is Dolphins Jaguars on Thursday Night Football.
Oh god.
Uh, Jaguars favored by 3. We'll be talking about that on Thursday. That should be a fun game still. Even though the Dolphins are 0-2, I think we all like Gardner Minshew enough to like the Jaguars, and
Oh, absolutely.
Fitzpatrick is memeable enough that we like him too. So
The fact that Minshew is like single with the rest of the scrubs on offense is single-handedly refusing the tank for Trevor plan is kind of funny. Like the Jags are probably not gonna be a playoff team this year just because they lack talent on the team, and Minshew's mania is probably gonna give out later in the year like it did last year. But I mean, they're not gonna get the number one pick, and they're gonna be forced to probably keep Minshew a few more years, which I think will be interesting.
I think I think the Jaguars are content with Minshew. He didn't play. He played great in week 1. He played great in week 2. He's had a solid start. Now he has to keep it up,
Yeah.
right? But I think that they're okay with how he's played so far.
I'm sure they're content with him too. I'm just saying, and going into this season, I think it was clear that they were literally just like they were a sinking ship and they were throwing everything off. They were like, "What do you want? Insert great former Pro Bowler for a 7th round pick? Sure."
Do you want our former first round defensive pick for anything? Is what
Yeah,
the Jaguars
exactly,
have done the
exactly,
last like 3 years.
exactly. So it's like that. That was the indication from the organization to me. They were just going full rebuild, and then Minshew's like, "But wait a minute, I'm still a decent quarterback. He has some turnover issues, sure, but he's still a good quarterback."
So because I haven't heard Daylet's or Alex's take on what happened with the Falcons,
Oh my!
let's talk about that. But first, I want to talk about what Arthur Blank, the owner of the Falcons, had to say about the onside kick. He
Oh
appeared
no!
on Sirius XM NFL Radio on Monday. He was talking about a book, and he said, "Well, you think about it. You think about, do you want to respond out of doing something that's immediate and respond out of disappointment, that sadness, maybe anger, frustration, which all our fans felt, and I understand why. Or think about, how do we correct this? There's 14 more games to play in the season. We have a lot of games left to play."
And how many of those are going to be comeback losses?
I mean, yeah, no, that's the thing is that win was, I mean, that was gifted to them. This Cowboys team is supposed to be great, and you could have put them at 0-2, a team that could potentially compete with the Falcons for a wild card spot, maybe. So you lose that opportunity. You yourself are 0-2, and again, that's just there's not really anything else he can say, because he's not trying to be, Jerry Jones edition owner where, anytime they lose, he just sits there and pouts for 20 minutes because that's his gimmick. So I get it, but it's still, I mean, yeah, it's bad.
He does have one aspect of Jerry Jones that people don't like, and that's hanging on the head coaches for a lot longer than he probably should.
I saw a tweet from a Falcons fan page saying the Falcons have done everything to remove the stench of the 28-3 loss, rebranding the uniforms, new kicker, new defense, not new defense, new uniforms, new everything, new stadium, all that stuff. But they still haven't gotten the main problem that caused the 28-3 loss. That's
Being in
Dan Quinn.
Atlanta.
No,
Oh.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I just
though.
think it's being in Atlanta is really what makes it, is what I think. Something about it.
I mean, possibly, but I mean,
Or just
look,
in Georgia in general.
the simple fact is that I mean, millions of people watching that game sat at home and yelled, "Go get the ball." because everybody knew that the receiving team can get the ball whenever they want. And they still just sat there and looked at it.
I'm
How
almost
do you
half
not know the
convinced.
rules of the onside kick?
I think they weren't. Yeah, I feel like they were waiting for the 10 yards because maybe they thought if they didn't go 10 yards, they'd get a flag or something.
There's, but
I'm just saying maybe they thought that is the only way I can justify it.
that's clearly what they thought. The problem, the question is, how can you be such a moron to not know the basic rules
If
of an
your
onside
special
kick?
teams coach doesn't teach it to you, or they teach you wrong,
That's what I was going to say. Is how can the special teams coach sit here, remain at his job, and get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for that?
I'm just
Even though he's got
saying
the best onside kicker in the league in Young Wei Koo, he still should not be on the team after that.
there's 11 people on that hands team. They need to check the bank accounts of all 11 of them because somebody had money somewhere on this game.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
I mean, that was ridiculous. That really was. I mean, it was gift because the second I saw the kick, roll to like 5 yards, I was like,
It
oh, it's
even
over.
roll. It spin like a blade, like a Beyblade across the field.
I was like, oh, it's over.
The only thing I can take away from that is something that Hillman said yesterday is that maybe the Cowboys thought the ball wasn't even going to go 10 yards and we're just going to let the Cowboys get the illegal touching. But it still doesn't make very much sense.
Exactly. Just grab the ball.
To be fair, it does not look like it's going to go 10 yards. It looks like it's going to go out of bounds. And maybe Hayden Hurst just lost his bearings and didn't realize where out of bounds was. But at some point, you can just alleviate that entire situation by just picking up the dang ball.
Exactly. I think that maybe what they thought is that none of them were confident enough they could get the ball without, messing it up. Because once they touch it, the Cowboys can touch it however many times they want. And I think maybe I think you're right in saying they thought it wasn't going to go 10 yards, was going to go out of bounds. And I think they just were like, all right, it's like, reminds me of, never mind. I can't remember the play that I'm thinking of. Oops. But
Alex, special teams coordinator for Falcons, has been Coach Uka, and guess where he was before that?
Was he in Washington?
Wait. Show me a picture.
Oh my goodness. He looks like a mix of Gene Chizik and somebody who's really upset.
It's like
I thought that
isn't Gene Chizik always upset anyway?
I don't know.
That was a different guy. Hold up. Let me look because he might have been in charge when Washington ran that swinging gate in like 2010. Now that was great special teams work. Let's see. Let me see there.
And the assistant used to work at the University of Hawaii, Rainbow Warriors.
Hey, shout out to Hawaii.
In fairness, this special teams coordinator was actually like decent in Washington, so he has a good track record.
He was decent last year with the Falcons.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's see, because he's been in charge of Young Wei Koo, the best onside kicker on the planet, and then obviously Washington has the best punter in the league, so he was in charge of that as well. So he clearly has a good track record of making great players.
Ben Kovic is also known for getting caught peeing in a Gatorade cup on the sidelines. There's a picture of him doing it.
Wait.
With Washington, mind you.
Okay, great.
At first it didn't make sense, but now it does.
Yeah. To put a cap on NFL talk for week 2, I guess let's just run down the scores and get some final thoughts from you guys. Of course, we had the Thursday night game. Browns defeated the Bengals 35-30. Joe Burrow, leading passer, attempting 61 pass attempts. I think third most ever by a rookie. Nick Chubb, your leading rusher, and OBJ, your leading receiver, with 4 yards and a touchdown. The Panthers fell to the Bucs 17-31 off a late Leonard Fournette touchdown. He was your leading rusher. Teddy Bridgewater was your leading passer with 367 yards with 2 touchdowns. The Giants' last-second effort for a touchdown came up short after a 10-point fourth quarter as they fell to the Bears in Soldier Field 13-17. Danny Dimes, your leading passer there. David Montgomery, your leading rusher. Of course, we've talked about the Cowboys. They came away with a 1-point victory in Jerry's world after a 16-point fourth quarter and a 30-point second half. Ezekiel Elliott, your leading rusher. The Packers made the Lions fools once again as the Lions once again blew a multi-point lead. This time it was in the first half, not the second half. Matthew Stafford still somehow managed to be the leading passer, though. Aaron Jones comes away with 2 touchdowns. The Titans take the unabashed lead in the AFC South as they beat the Jags by 3. Gardner Minshew, the leading passer, though, with 45 attempts and 3 touchdowns. James Robinson, your leading rusher there. The Colts all over the Vikes, 28-11. Phillip Rivers, 19-25, 214 yards, 1 touchdown as they beat the Vikings 28-11 in the Colts home opener. The Bills get a scare from the fish in Miami as the Buffalo Bills come out 31-28 over the Miami Dolphins. Josh Allen, your leading passer, Singletary, your leading rusher, and Stephon Diggs finally joining the party for 153 yards and a touchdown for Buffalo. Despite the infirmary on the sidelines, the 49ers beat the Jets 31-13. Sam Darnold, your leading passer there, and Mostert with a touchdown for San Francisco. The D-line is too much for Carson Wentz as the Rams beat the Eagles 37-19. Jared Goff, your leading passer there. Cooper Kupp, 5 receptions, 81 yards. In the Steel City, the comeback is not completed as the Steelers overtake the Broncos 26-21. Ben Roethlisberger, leading passer there, 2 touchdowns, but a few interceptions to boot. Cardinals double up the football team as Kyler Murray goes for 286 yards and a touchdown. Kenyon Drake rushes for 86 yards. The Chiefs go to overtime with the Chargers in SoFi Stadium. Justin Herbert, the leading passer, but Tyreek Hill is the leading receiver with 99 yards and a touchdown. The Ravens are all over the Texans 33-16 down in the heart of Texas as Deshaun Watson passes for 275 yards and a touchdown, but only managed to score 16 points as the Ravens double up the Texans. And, of course, on Sunday Night Football, name a better combination than the Patriots and Seahawks on the 1-yard line, as for the 3rd straight time it comes down to a goal line stand by the defense as the Seahawks prevailed this time. Cam Newton stopped on the final play as he went 30 of 44, passed for almost 400 yards and a touchdown. So excellent performance by Cam Newton on Sunday Night Football. And, of course, Monday Night Football, you had the newly minted Las Vegas Raiders in their newly minted stadium. Derek Carr signed the wall. Always bet on black when you're in Vegas, because Josh Jacobs went for 27 carries and 88 yards. So that was your NFL Week 2 recap. So we can move on to bigger and brighter things, as it looks like Tony Romo is going to be calling that Patriots-Raiders game on Sunday. So that's one to circle.
And another big thing is that if we take a look at the Extra Point NFL Pick'em standings, Alex is in first place at 25-7, with a 3-game cushion on Bay. Bay is at 22-10. Me, Davis, and Devin are all tied at 3rd at 21-11. And then Jacob.
That
and
shows
Jack,
you that's what you should be at.
And then
How does
Jacob
that make
and
any
Jack
sense, Davis?
tied at 20-12 at 6.
Because the rest of the group doesn't know football.
If the majority of people are at 21-11, then you are the outlier.
That's because I'm superior.
Because you're lucky.
Because I'm superior.
Alex, you better be careful what you say here.
After this next week. Let's see if we break it down week by week.
Oh, I'm going to choke next week. Make no mistake about it.
Exactly. I'm going to use that against you. If you make a big old take, I'm going to use it against you.
It looks like
Jared, I have some news. Real quick.
Looks like Alex has picked 12 games right, or 13 games right each week. So, or 12 and 13, excuse me.
So many games next week are a trap, like Chicago versus Atlanta.
Oh, I already know the answer to that game.
And then like Buffalo versus LA. Like even though Josh Allen looks like he's been the second best quarterback in football right now, do you want to pick him? Do you really? I mean, there's a lot more difficult games to pick next week than there were this week, so we could all struggle.
Davis, you said you had something?
Do you remember what I said at the beginning of quarantine when we were on our Zoom calls?
What?
No.
That I said I'd be okay as long as Bobby Shmurda got out.
Is Shmurda out?
Some news. No.
Oh,
his
damn.
parole has been denied. He's released in 2021 now.
Oh.
So I'm not okay anymore. It's now downhill from here.
I like how September 22nd, I got that right. This is when it started going downhill because Shmurda got his parole denied.
Shmurda has been denied parole.
Oh, no. What did he do? Before I say free Bobby Shmurda, what did he do?
His big song, his big song. I'm not gonna say the name of it.
Yeah.
He snitched on all his boys and that, and then he also snitched on himself for gang violence, basically. Gun possession, gang violence, intimidation, all that stuff.
Well,
But free
that was
Bobby,
a smart
man.
move.
He had some good songs.
Maybe he shouldn't get out because maybe he's
Well,
safer on the other side.
I don't think he actually killed anyone.
Oh, that's not what I'm. I think people may like go after him. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but
Y'all,
no,
this-
because he's
this
gonna
is-
release
this
more
is-
bangers.
This
He has some good songs, dog.
Do you not remember every other famous singer that was killed by like their fans or people that didn't like them?
I mean, like, Bobby's actually in them streets a little bit, so
oh
it
my.
might come down to that.
All right, let's
Oh, that's it. No.
I could talk about Bobby Shmurda for an hour, honestly.
let's not.
Then let's not.
Let's
Let's
not.
not. We want you to.
Let's
Alex, have you listened to either of his songs? His
There's-
big ones?
I don't. Please stop.
let's move on to a little bit of college basketball news. Pretty much, in a nutshell, they are moving a lot of the non-conference invitationals to Orlando. At least ESPN is. 8 of the non-conference tournaments, including the Champions Classic, the Charleston Classic, the Myrtle Beach Invitational, the NIT Season Tip-Off, the Wooden Legacy, the Orlando Invitational, the Jimmy V Classic, and the Diamond Head Classic. If you need an update on which one Auburn is in the Orlando Invitational, along with Belmont, Boise State, Gonzaga, Michigan State, Siena, St. Louis, and Xavier.
Are they doing a bubble for that? I heard a report about that.
If they're moving it to the same place that they're doing the NBA playoffs, I assume that is a bubble at that
They
point.
get to go to Disney? What?
Yeah, they get to go to Disney. I mean, but
You get to eat the yummy bubble food.
I mean, for some teams like the Charleston Classic, which were like Florida State, Houston, Tennessee, and all of them are at. I mean, I feel like that's an upgrade to go from Charleston to Disney, right? But then for other locations, Maui's not on here. Maui's not moving yet, it seems.
Hey, Jared.
What?
Actually, no, we can do it when we get to college football. Never mind.
Just teed him up for nothing.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
bro, you
saying.
teed me
It
up.
was a timeout. It was a timeout. I was gonna ask because it looks like the CFB pick'em is different than the ones you actually sent out on the Google form.
What do you mean?
I don't remember picking Tennessee and South Carolina.
That's because that's this week. I already
No.
updated them.
But you sent them out like on Sunday. And I did them.
didn't.
Yeah,
No,
you
I
did.
didn't. No, I did not.
Where? I didn't get them.
Yeah.
Are
Bro,
you
you slipping.
Alex,
Are
are you okay?
Man,
'Cause I
quarantine
definitely
got you
picked-
messed up.
No, hold up.
The
Are
warden
you
didn't let
sure
you out
you
to the
didn't
yard.
send
Did
it
you
out?
just
Hold
get
up.
scammed by a fake Jared to do a
Hold up.
pick'ems?
Hold
did
up.
he say he was a
Stop
Nubian
it.
prince? I mean, I know I'm
Stop
beautiful, but damn.
Someone did
Stop
that to
it.
me on Instagram. I straight up deleted.
Yep. Wait. What the?
I'm telling you right now, Alex, this morning I got up at 5 a.m. my time, and I went ahead and changed the Google form to week. It says week 3 at the top. Are you okay?
Hold
Alex,
up,
Alex
hold
got
up.
scammed.
Hold up.
Did you have to put your credit card
Look.
information for it by chance?
Okay, this doesn't make any sense because I remember doing this and picking some of these games.
No, you don't. I promise you, you
think
didn't
you
pick
had
any
a
of
dream
these
or
games.
something.
No, because
You might
I
have had a dream.
remember looking up the Army versus Cincinnati game before I picked that one.
No, you're thinking of a different game. You're thinking of like
No, I swear I looked that one up because I was like, I
You
didn't know they were
probably-
both
are you
ranked,
thinking
and
of
I looked
Navy
up-
Tulane, another
No.
academy school?
I'm
Did
telling you guys,
dream this, Alex?
I don't know, but I'm telling you, I did.
How did you pick a game that hasn't happened yet, Alex?
I don't remember when I picked it, but I remember doing
Are you
it.
from the future?
I mean, I got no problem picking it again. I just could
Like,
have sworn that I
You
did it.
turn 20 and either you develop dementia overnight or the CTE has just gotten to you. I thought I was bad.
Or wait, Jared, your theory about multiple realities. Alex might be unhinged in the space time.
Oh snap! This is a different Alex we're talking to.
This is Alex from a few days forward in time.
I
This
promise
is,
you.
This is an Alex where Jared released the
That's
college
so
Pick'em on
weird.
Sunday instead of today.
That is so no, because I picked Auburn, Kentucky, and I was like, "Yep, is
No, you
Auburn really going to
didn't.
win?" I'm
Not.
telling you,
No,
I
you
did.
did not, bro.
Oh, wait,
Check the recordings.
Never
Check the
mind.
actual shows.
I messed up. It's all good. I messed up. That's my bad. I know what
Mm.
happened, but I'm not going to explain it. But I know what happened.
You know, yesterday when I was depressed, sitting in a corner in my house, and I thought to myself, you know, if the Weagle Symptomatic universe was actually real, who would everybody be?
Cinematic.
That's what I said.
You said symptomatic.
Cinematic, symptomatic.
Scintillating.
I can say whatever I want in my house. Okay. If the Weagle Cinematic universe was real and everybody had to be somebody, Alex, I'm convinced that you are who you dressed up as almost a year ago as the Joker. You're just in it as him.
I mean, we do live in a society. We do.
Oh
Don't
wow,
you bottom
that's very
text me right
timely,
now.
Alex.
Are you okay, Alex? Are we done?
I think I'm good. I'm sorry about that,
So
everybody.
Alex,
I was
I
having
can't
a
believe you tried to
serious.
tee me up over that. That better have been a
It was
flagrant
a
one.
timeout. It was in an angle.
You tried to
this
tee
is
me
Limit.
up.
this is T. This is timeout. It's fair. I guess it doesn't actually. I think it might be up to the ref. So this could be T.
I'm about to say it could be, but it wasn't. I'm
But
sorry.
that wait,
Go
we need to
go.
get Jacob in here. He's in sports officiating.
That's true. Jacob is a pro.
Jacob is asleep because he doesn't want to deal with
Okay,
this right now.
so is Alex not unhinged in time like I thought?
No, he
No,
still is,
Davis,
but
probably not.
That's lame.
we need to move on before we go deeper into a rabbit hole that I just don't want to get into right now.
Yeah. Jack even tried to keep us on center, and then I totally took us off base again. I'm sorry about that.
As is tradition.
All right, going
Or
on
less.
to college football. We hit it. We might as well just go with it now. The SEC starts back up this week. In our pick'em, Davis does lead everybody with a record of 11-8 because we are absolute trash right now at
Guess I'm just
pick'em.
better than everybody else, like Alex said.
In fairness, the last week was a lot of teams that I didn't think were going to lose. They just did.
That's why those crazy
And
picks
that's
win
how that works.
sometimes. That's why I
That
just go
the a
insane
lot,
sometimes.
there were a lot of upsets. A lot of upsets.
Last week, Davis led the way. He was 6-3. Keep in mind, one game was postponed. That's why everybody only has 9 games counted for. Uh, Davis went 6-3. Let's see. Alex, you went 5-4. I went 5-4. Jack went 3-6, along with Jacob, who went 3-6. Not great, but everybody's pretty much in the same area. I mean, me and Bear tied at 10-9. Alex and Jack are tied at 9-10, and Jacob is at 8-11, who's just done a horrible job at picking in general.
That's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
He's struggling.
He's struggling hard. But SEC football is coming back this week. Our current slate of games to pick, we're doing 11 this week to make up for one last week. The makeup game this week is NC State versus Virginia Tech. And then the regular 10 that we're going to pick, Tennessee at South Carolina, Louisville at Pitt, Army at Cincinnati, West Virginia at Oklahoma State, Georgia Southern at Louisiana, Troy, Alabama represent, at BYU, Florida State at Miami, Texas at Texas Tech, Florida at Ole Miss, and the extra point game of the week, not surprising at all, Kentucky at Auburn. So it should be a fun one when it comes to college, college football pick'em.
A lot of trap games though.
There's a lot of trap games, and before you know it, the Big Ten will be back. At least back in the AP rankings, and then back playing a full slate of games. Not much going on news-wise in college football. Other than Jackson State getting a new head coach. If you heard the news, what are
That was
the?
ridiculous.
Is it though?
Okay, no, let me be clear. The hiring is not ridiculous, but the intro he had to his press conference was stupid. That's the only really word I can use to describe it. He had like a police escort motorcade with the band leading him out, fireworks, music, and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, Dion, we get it. You were good. But has he ever been a coach of a team?
I mean, I don't know, but if I'm ever hired, I want something like that. Where's
Jared,
my
but
fireworks?
that
I want
okay.
you to blow the whole athletic budget on my entrance, and
That
that's
was
it.
that was actually the point. Is they said Jackson State spent all their budget on Dion's entrance, which is probably true. But I mean, I just, I really don't know if he's going to be a good coach because he's never really showcased it to me that he could be, and specifically a head coach. Like
He's
if
gonna
he
be
was
cool
hired
in
as
interviews.
if he was hired as Florida State's defensive backs coach, oh, I would believe that because Dion's one of the best to ever do it at cornerback. So that would work. But to just be the overall head coach doesn't really seem like it's going to work. However, I mean,
If NBA 2K has taught me anything, is that a player retired turned coach always works out well.
I was going to say that's the thing is
Always.
in the NBA it actually is a thing, and I guess eventually in football it will become a thing as more players retire and like Brady being a coach in 10 years doesn't surprise me or wouldn't surprise me. So, I mean, I guess that could be a thing we're heading towards. But Deion Sanders being the first domino to fall is interesting.
Maybe he'll coach the mascot to not celebrate in the end zone. Get his team.
Some other big college football news. This is coming from a starter's perspective. Garantano is opening up as the Vols starting quarterback, undisputed. Mac Jones, obviously not surprising, is the starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide. Miles Brennan will be the LSU starting quarterback, replacing national champion winning and Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Joe Burrow. And some other news as well. Obviously, we probably all saw the news about Mike Norvell. His stint in Florida State not off to a great start. Not only
Yeah.
were they surrendered Cobra against Georgia Tech, but then he went down with the coronavirus. Hopefully, he does. He recovers and he's well, and his family as well. But he is going to miss the Miami game, which I can only imagine is not going to end well for Florida State because Miami
No, it's
looks at
not.
least competent now.
Let the record show. I
Don't you
brought
bring
the
up Brett
fact that
Lashley. I promise you. I'll choke you.
their offense has been great, and nobody is talking about the fact that he is the reason. He has completely reworked that offense to focus on their strengths. Like he's not made. Like remember when Holgerson went to Houston, or when Kevin Sumlin went to Arizona, and both of them completely changed the offense. And the Arizona project completely destroyed Khalil Tate's Heisman run because Kevin Sumlin was convinced that Khalil Tate throwing it 60 times a game was a great idea. And then, really, really,
You taking pictures, bro?
no, he's playing crickets, Jared.
I didn't hear that part.
Never
Remember how I'm
mind.
feeling,
Never
bro.
mind. Never mind.
I'll
Go
play it
on.
again for you.
I've got nothing else to say. It doesn't matter. I get it. You guys don't want to be presented with the facts. It's okay. It's fine.
The
It's fine.
facts. Alex, the only fact that you presented us in the last... How long is this recording so far? The only fact that you presented in the last 43 minutes and 25 seconds is that you may have dementia. That's the only thing I've gotten so far.
All right. Fine.
Look, Miami's played well, but I don't want to write down on pen and paper, right? Well, you don't write down on pen and paper, but I don't want to write down on paper with my pen that Rhett
What?
Lashley is the is the reason yet. Okay,
I mean,
Why
he
did you
is.
just change
but
that?
I don't know. It didn't sound right to me.
Instead of pen and paper, which is like the most used term, you went to paper with my pen.
That's not the crazy thing I've ever done. So
I know, but still, that was just kind of weird.
is Rhett Lashley the reason why the offense turned around?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
It's 2 games into the season. I don't want
Have
to
you
say
done your
yes.
experiments, Alex? I don't think you've really tested your hypothesis.
As
I
an,
don't-
Okay.
as
Yeah,
an
I don't think our
Auburn
sample
fan,
size
I
is
know
good
how
enough.
much the first 2 games of the season means jack squat.
I don't know if the sample size is good enough because I've been skeptical of Miami ever since 2017 when they looked like a playoff team and proceeded to
That's true.
lose back
Now
to back
look.
30-point games.
I'm not saying that Rhett Lashley has single-handedly made Miami a great team or anything. I'm just saying if you watch them play and you look at the numbers, he has changed the offense. They barely threw the ball in their first game and ran the ball like crazy, which obviously is a Rhett Lashley input thing because where did he come from? So, I mean, yes, also he has definitely improved the offense because obviously last year they were terrible and this year he's using their strengths, but still, I think that acting like he is no reason for the change and no reason for the success is just, doing it for the sake of the meme,
I
which,
just I just want to see if we're gonna have the same tune about Rhett Lashley when the season ends.
I mean, if they come out being well, okay, how many games are they going to play?
They play 10, right?
But they have out of conference, so I don't remember.
Oh, some
Jack,
other
what the
college
heck?
football news that happened. Uh, okay, here's one. Texas Tech running back Sir Roderick, like SA and then
Sir
Roderick.
Roderick, are you doing that in a British accent? Is that what
No,
I'm
I'm
saying?
not. This
Sorry,
isn't an
Frankie
accent
kid.
thing anymore. Okay.
Oh my
Where's,
Sir
where's,
goodness.
Roderick.
where's Sir Greg and Sir Manny?
So Roderick
Oh.
Thompson was
Jack,
charged Monday
that
with
was
street
terrible.
racing.
Wait, Jared, what are you talking about?
So Roderick Thompson was charged with street racing on Monday.
Who is that?
The Texas Tech
It's
running
Greg
back I'm
Heffley's
talking
brother,
about.
Alex. He has
Oh
a
my
band.
Man, my dementia theory actually is kicking into high gear now, isn't it?
How am I supposed to know who Texas Tech's running back is?
Because I was
Because he
talking about
said
it.
it. Because
Jared, I rarely listen to you, so
I was
Does
talking
he have
about
a
it.
hearing problem too?
My point being is that Sir Roderick Thompson was charged with was charged with street racing on
Are you
Monday.
sure you're not doing an accent?
No, that is his name. It is
Sir
S-A,
Roderick Thompson.
and it's Roderick.
say his full name again, Jared.
I don't want to anymore.
Wait, how do you spell it?
Sir Roderick.
How do you spell it?
It's literally capital S-A, and then capital R, and then like Roderick. Like from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I think his name is Roderick. It's like that. I don't know what's so funny about this.
You just say Sir Roderick, and then you go Thompson. I don't know. I just think it's really funny.
Davis, you need help.
And he's expected to play this Saturday as well. So I just
I
want
mean,
to.
Tech needs everything they can get. Didn't they barely beat Houston Baptist?
I mean, but they're playing Texas this week, so.
I mean, that's something they need all the help they can get. Horns down.
I have a question. So, if a college player is arrested, and his bond is currently set at $2,500, he can't. How's he gonna? If he doesn't have that money, because he's a college student, how can he pay that? Because can the school bail him out?
I feel like that's a legal line that schools shouldn't cross, is bailing out their own players.
I mean,
Well, like if they need him to play, what
I'm
do
going
they
to
do?
assume that a public institution cannot bail out their own players.
But the generous boosters,
But the boosters.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Patrick Mahomes might have a little money to spare from his coffers.
That's true. I mean, the man just did sign a $500 million contract.
Might help Sir Roderick.
I didn't say it like that. Uh, moving on
I did.
from moving on from college football into the let's go to Major League Baseball now. As
Oh,
we wind down into the end of the regular season. Postseason starts, I believe, Saturday.
Sure.
Sunday. Somewhere around there.
wow, Jared.
Look,
this weekend.
You can
yes. Look, all I know is I saw the commercial for it, and it said, like, this weekend. And so I went with the weekend. The last slate of games are on Sunday. And then Tuesday, it looks like the American League Wildcard Series starts on the 29th. So that is when
These are best
that's when things start popping off. For right now, things are staying pretty steady between all the divisions and such. And
I don't think we didn't have a clinch last night, but we did have the Athletics winning the West for the first time since 2013.
solid.
yeah, not
Pulling
much
up
on the front.
the matchups right now. looking at the playoff picture right now, it is in the AL. The Rays, with a win last night, took over the number 1 spot from the White Sox. White Sox bumped down to the 2, so that is the number 1 Rays versus the number 8 Blue Jays. The number 2 White Sox versus the number 7 Indians. So those are 2 divisional matchups right out the gate. The number 3 A's, who just picked up that AL West division crown, versus the number 6 Astros, another divisional matchup. And then the rematch from last year, the number 4 Twins versus the number 5 Yankees. I almost combined those to make them the Twinkies. In the NL, you have the number 1 Dodgers versus the number 8 Phillies, looking to end a postseason drought there. The number 2 Cubs versus the number 7 Reds. The Reds back in the postseason, surprising a lot of people. Number 3 Braves, who are still trying to get that number 2 spot, currently matched up, with the Cardinals.
Oh, God.
And the number 4 Padres, the People's Team, and Tatis Jr. looking to make some noise in October versus another postseason drought coming to an end, the number 5 Marlins, who have pretty much locked it up to play in October. So that's an exciting 16 teams to have playing in October. You got a combination of new and fun teams like the Reds, Marlins, Padres, Blue Jays, the Twins even. Throw in the Indians for good measure, as well as the Rays, who came up a little bit short last year. Versus, you got your Blue Bloods, you got all the MLB favorites. The Giants are currently do not hold a spot, but they are looking to come for the Phillies 8th seed. But the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Braves, those are 3 big names. You got the Yankees and the Astros trying to avenge themselves as well. So you got a lot of heavy hitters, and I really like the expanded playoff format because it's making the playoff chase a whole lot more interesting down the stretch.
Jack.
However,
go ahead, Alex.
I was going to say something about the expanded playoff format. How do we feel about the fact that they're doing this? They're giving the top 6 seeds. They're doing the division winners in the second place divisional teams, which puts the 27 and 27 Astros above the 30 and 24 Indians and the 28 and 26 Blue Jays. Does that? I feel like that should be controversial because, the Astros are getting a better seeding just because their division is garbage.
That's going to be a problem if those teams meet in the World Series because they just announced the World Series seeding or who's the home team, right? Who gets to bat last pretty much. It's not going to be determined on record, but their actual seeding. So in that situation, the Astros would be the home team or they would bat last in games 1, 2, and then 6 and 7 in that situation over the Indians. Which
they're
we
in
can
the
argue
same,
whether that's right or wrong.
They're all in the National League, so that wouldn't, or the American League, excuse me. So that wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't meet in the World Series anyway. But that's
yeah.
Because that seems like a bit of a flawed format to me. Just because, again, you're giving credit. So say the NFL did this with football, and you would have the 8-8 Giants because they're in the worst division in football get ahead of the 10-6 Seahawks or something like that. That seems like the same type of deal to me, which again I think would be a little more. That'd be just very controversial because you're giving a team a higher seed just because their division is not good, in essence.
Also, to point out some breaking news that's happening in the NFL. He's back. Okay.
Blake.
Wait.
Come on, Jack, you got it.
Antonio.
What?
No. It's
Blake Bortles is signing with the Denver Broncos.
Is he actually signing? I thought it was just he met with them.
Not Antonio Brown. He's not back.
That's not happening.
No.
That's fair.
Blake Bortles signing with the Denver Broncos, obviously because Drew Lock is out with an injury right now, and I guess
they don't trust Jeff Driscoll.
Jeff Driscoll, he needs somebody to back him up, I guess.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So for right now, Blake Bortles is back in uniform.
Jared, are you sure?
Yes.
What? Yes, it just happened.
It's alert right here. Denver expected to sign Bortles.
Okay, I
not out of question. He's
either.
Active as number 2 QB.
Even something from Schefter, I hadn't seen anything, so that's what I was wondering.
Schefter's sleeping while we awake. We eating, bro.
Schefter did just tweet an hour ago about, but whatever.
I'm just saying.
Woj?
Alex, yeah, we're Woj.
Yeah, no.
All right, we drop news. All right.
Okay, me, Jack, and Jared are Woj. You're a sham.
That's fair.
Alex is the sham in my book. Uh, so
All right, Jared.
let's talk about we're still in Major League Baseball. Do we get baseball
Um,
for chess?
let me just say the A's have become the first team to clinch a division title on Monday. Other teams to lock up a postseason berth are Los Dodgers, the Rays, the White Sox, the Twins, the Yankees, and Padres. The Indians can officially join the AL playoff field with a win or a Mariners loss on Tuesday, so it's probably going to happen. Other teams that can clinch today are the Cubs. They can get a postseason berth. The Rays can clinch the division today. The Braves can clinch the division today, and the Dodgers can get, I think, their ninth straight consecutive NL West crown today. Uh, no World Series to show for it. Funny how that works out.
Be careful because the Cardinals and Reds are currently tied in their division. So if something bad happens, switch out the Braves opponent with the Cardinals for the Reds. And
It's right, yeah. Cardinals and Reds currently sitting at number 6 and number 7 in the NL playoff field, either matching up with the Cubs or Braves currently.
I'd rather want the Cubs to be quite honest. I think a
Oh,
lot of people
Jared.
like a Cubs Cardinals
Cubs
opening round.
Cardinals playoff series is. Have we seen that? We haven't seen that in a long time, have we?
Uh, Jack, for those of us that are hockey illiterate, what happened in the Stanley Cup last night?
All right, so the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 2 was last night. We were looking at the Dallas Stars versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Stars took Game 1 pretty convincingly, but Tampa Bay came storming back in this Game 2, scoring 3 goals in the opening period and hanging on to that lead for the entire game. So Andrei Vasilevsky standing on his head, putting up the brick wall and shutting out the Stars. Well, not shutting them out, rather, but keeping them from scoring. The rest of the Tampa Bay offense kind of sputtered, but that 3 goals was enough as the Tampa Bay Lightning came away with a 3-2 victory over the Dallas Stars, who tied the series 1-1. 3 stars of the game were Victor Hedman, defenseman for Tampa Bay, with 2 assists, Nikita Kucherov, a winger for Tampa Bay, with 2 assists, and John Klingberg for Dallas with 2 assists. This was an extremely evenly matched game. Looking at the stats, it was unbelievable. I mean, looking at the shots, it was 29-31, hits 50-51, faceoffs won 34-35, and penalty minutes 12-14. These guys, it was like looking in a mirror for both of these teams. Lining up, scoring summary: Braden Point, his 10th goal of the postseason on the power play to open up scoring 10 minutes in, assisted by Nikita Kucherov and Victor Hedman. 4 minutes after that, Andrej Palat, his 9th goal of the postseason on the power play as well, once again assisted by Kucherov. So Kucherov integral in the scoring here last night. And then Kevin Shattenkirk, for good measure, 15 minutes in, makes it 3-0 and kind of puts the Dallas Stars in the coffin in the first period. Spirited effort by the Stars to come back. They score once again in the second period, 14 minutes in. Joe Pavelski, his 10th goal of the postseason, once again on the power play. So 3 of the night's 5 goals coming on the power play last night, so very lethal for both sides. And then with 5 minutes left in the third period, Matthias Janmark, his first goal of the postseason, took the Stars within 1, but unfortunately they could not complete the comeback. So the series is tied 1-1 heading into Game 3 on Wednesday.
And speaking of, excuse me, speaking of game threes, there's one tonight, and that is over in
There is.
the NBA. As I would say, it's do or die for the Nuggets right now,
Yes.
but we've seen what they've done so far. But going down 3-0 is not the same thing as going down 3-1. Lakers are 6.5 point favorites. That game is at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on TNT. Lakers, Nuggets. Davis, this time the Nuggets, their logo's going to be on the court. I don't know if that's going to mean anything, but that's what's happening.
What'd you say? Who's on the court?
I said the Nuggets logo is going to be on the court, but I don't know if that means much.
Well, I mean, they're at home then, so home court. They're winning this night. They're winning tonight. The Davis
night,
guarantee.
Okay, you're not Charles Barkley. Stop it.
That was the joke. So I mean,
Who do you have in this game?
I'm going Nugs.
I mean,
Wait,
I
I'll be
want
right
the-
back.
Oh, Lordy, hurry up and just pick before he comes back.
I want
At his door.
what?
LeBron James is at his door. It's like that picture of Anthony Davis looking behind the curtain.
Alex, who you picking?
I mean, I want the Nuggets to win, but I know that in reality,
Let's go
oh Lord.
Nuggets!
Oh my
Whoa!
gosh, wow, what a throwback. I mean, I know the Lakers are probably going to win this game just because the Nuggets, their chance was last game 2, but then Miles Plumlee decided he wanted to forget how to play defense, and well, that worked out great.
You
So,
know, I thought I was gonna be upset about whatever Davis was gonna pull out, but I always respect the baby blue jerseys. So
Let's go Melo.
you know, my brother got a Jokic jersey in like 2014. He's been a Jokic fan since before Jokic was even Jokic.
I could claim this is a Jokic jersey, honestly.
he could. I mean, did it say
Turn
Melo?
around,
Did it
Davis.
say Anthony on the back?
I got it at the thrift store. It's at Anthony, yeah.
Okay.
Why did you could have turned all the way around. You didn't have to.
Hell, is this better? Is this good for you, Alex?
No,
Is that
I
good
didn't
for you?
want-
Yeah, I can't. I'm on a couch. I can't turn
I
around.
don't want to see you straddle your couch at 10 a.m. in the morning. Okay.
I didn't either, but Alex really wanted to for some reason.
Y'all have a weird relationship. All right, Jack, who you
He's
picking?
the one that has the relationship with me.
Jack.
Hey, I think if the Nuggets are going to win at any point, it's going to be the first game back on the home court. It's got to be. If they're going to take one and get a gentleman's sweep, as you guys have dubbed it, it's
I don't know
gonna
who
be
you guys is. That's a Davis thing.
It's me. It's me.
So I guess I'm going Lakers because I don't trust the Nugs. Okay, not at all.
They got to win one game to be down 3-1.
Yeah, that's true, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to give them that opportunity. And there's no way if the Lakers win this game, there's no way you're gonna convince me the Nuggets are going to win 4 straight.
stupid. Not going to let you get the chance.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you get the chance. So that's the NBA. Game 3 tonight
But
between
also,
Lakers
Melo
and
up there.
Nuggets.
The Nuggets, look, Nuggets are definitely going to win. There's Melo right there.
Melo's
Should I get it
at
down?
home doing whatever else he's doing.
But that's Melo, Denver Melo. That's him
Okay.
with the
And
cornrows.
what did Denver Melo do in his time in Denver?
Ouch.
He made it to the playoffs a few times.
Congrats. And then tomorrow will be Game 4 Celtics Heat, as Boston is a 3-point favorite over on their side. Going back to college football, now that we kind of ran through all the big leagues, SEC, I just want to talk about the SEC and kind of just break down what we are about to see when the conference gets back going. We have all these games. We have Florida, Ole Miss. I don't know what Jack's in the chat because I can't open it, but I assume something funny.
You should screen
Yeah.
share and look at it.
No, no.
It's not bad, Jared. Do it.
Oh, I know it's not bad, but it wouldn't technically work in the setup right now. There's Florida, Ole Miss, Kentucky, Auburn, Mississippi State, LSU, Georgia, Arkansas, Alabama, Missouri, Vanderbilt, A&M, and Tennessee, South Carolina. Obviously, the SEC is sticking with their breakdown of divisions, so it's not like they're throwing everybody into one. But who are the two favorites to come out of their divisions, in your opinion, this early in the season?
I think Bama, Florida is your safe pick. For me,
That's
if it was life or death.
Gun to your head, who you pick?
who was Florida's quarterback this year?
Uh,
Because Frank's got hurt last year, so is he not back yet?
is it
And is it then those two? I can't remember the two names of the
I mean
guys.
Trash.
Trask, and then that other guy, Emory Jones.
Jared had a Freudian slip there.
But if those, I'm always inclined to pick Georgia just because Florida can't figure out a way to beat Georgia lately. So I'll say Georgia out of the East, and then out of the West. I want to
go
pick
ahead and say
Auburn,
it.
but
Go ahead and
but
say
I'm
it.
not going to.
Go ahead and say
Bama. I mean, they always find a way to win no matter how much talent they have to replace. And just because the rest of the West, I mean, Texas A&M is, they're going to find a way to go 8-4 in a 10-game season. And, LSU, I think they could find some success, but again, they lost everything. They didn't lose a few things. They aren't 2010 Auburn. They lost everything. And I really don't know how they're going to come back and be as good as they were last year, even close to it. So
I think it's back to the drawing board for LSU. I mean, I've said it before. The only thing they're returning is Coach O, the coffee maker, because really they're back to the LSU teams of old, where we're probably gonna. I mean, they recruit well. We're gonna see some great defense, but without a quarterback to lead that team, we're gonna see a lot of ugly LSU games like we've seen in the past. A lot of games below a combined 20 points for both teams, I'd say.
And I do not miss those games at all. Which is funny when Jared mentioned that Garantano was starting for Tennessee. Is it crazy for me to think that Tennessee is heading towards that direction of being the LSU of the past, just having good defense and no offense whatsoever? Because Garantano is not terrible, but he's very much a Jordan Jefferson quality quarterback where he's just painfully average, maybe a bit above it.
It's a little disrespectful to compare Tennessee.
That's true.
To LSU,
that's true.
Considering their defensive performance last year against the likes of BYU.
That's true. That's true. I'm just saying I think they're heading towards that. In maybe 3 years we could see that.
Mediocre quarterback status.
Davis, how about you? Who's your picks coming out of each division?
I mean, Alex kind of stole mine, so.
Well, you can pick it again.
You can pick it again, or you can go off the cuff and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be different."
Mizzou. It's gonna be Mizzou. There you go. That's off the cuff for you.
We say go off the cuff, not be idiotic.
I'm just saying. I think that A&M could win it. It's just that we know they won't. They have the talent and the potential. They have the coach to do it. We just know that they won't because that's just A&M's thing. It's like Auburn with their defense probably should have made bigger waves in the division last year than they did, but we just know that they weren't going to, just because that's what you almost expect. And I think A&M is the same type of thing where they have the talent again.
They also they have a favorable schedule. They open at home against Vanderbilt. They are at South Carolina on November 7th, and they are at Tennessee a week later. So those are their East opponents. So, in terms of what you could get, they did pretty well for themselves. I mean, they avoided Georgia, Florida, and Kentucky off their schedule. So,
yeah.
Wait, A&M did?
Yes, they have Vanderbilt, South Carolina, and Tennessee.
I see them as playing Florida on week 3.
Oh, they play 4 East teams. My bad.
That changes things.
Maybe Florida's going to break out the Gator green uniforms.
Oh,
the Gator green? Do you mean the camouflage thing that happened?
Well, it was Gator print. Maybe it's camouflage if you're hanging out with actual Gators.
That was one of the strangest.
But you don't.
I will say, with that schedule in mind, though, I mean, Texas A&M, I think their floor is going 7-3. I think they should not do any worse than 7-3, with the losses being Auburn, Bama, and Florida.
I don't know. There's a lot of potential losses on this schedule.
Yeah, they got Tennessee, LSU.
A&M, worst case scenario, A&M goes 5-5. I mean, they could get got by a couple of these teams.
I mean, they can, but I'm saying that they shouldn't.
Yeah, they shouldn't. But when you're talking about a floor, I think a ceiling might be 8-2, a floor 5-5, because when you got Bama and Florida back to back on weeks 2 and 3, I don't see them coming out of there with 2 victories.
I mean, I was saying that was gonna their 7-3 was gonna be Auburn, Alabama, and Florida.
And mark my words,
I just don't think they should lose to anybody else.
Mark my words, they will lose to one of the Mississippi teams, either Ole Miss or Mississippi State. They're gonna lose to one of them. I don't know who yet.
We'll see what happens with Tennessee, but right now, November 14th at Tennessee is not a game I want to be in if I'm A&M. That's a scary thing on my schedule. It's a game. That's a winnable game, but playing in Knoxville in November, if you're a team from Texas, I don't know.
And that's if Tennessee even makes it to November 14th. Their schedule, they open up against Missouri, or they open up against South Carolina, And, they're a 3.5 point favorite on the road. That's fine. Then they get Missouri, and that's whatever. But then they got Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama in the next 3 weeks. They may not make it to November 14th.
Yeah, I mean, very likely not.
I mean, they could go 1-4 in that stretch and then be a buster the rest of the season and spoil a couple of guys' parties.
Don't you say that. Don't you say that. Not when they're on our schedule.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying it until it doesn't happen.
Uh, I would ask who the dark horse in each division is, but I feel like we probably all have a unanimous take on that.
I mean, in the West, it'd be. I don't know. Well, I don't know what you mean by
Say it.
unanimous.
Say
I
it.
mean, Auburn's always a dark horse to randomly beat everybody, but
I would
that's
say, yeah, my dark horses are playing on week 1, and that's Auburn and Kentucky.
yeah. The East doesn't have anybody else that can really compete. And again, even if Tennessee could compete, their division is so awful. Or not their division, their schedule is so
I
awful,
think,
as you said, Jared.
yeah, Kentucky. I think Kentucky's the 3 in the East right now, and maybe, I mean, when you're playing 10 games, the volatility of the schedule, where with tiebreakers, is to the point where you could maybe get beat by Florida and Georgia, have 2 losses, but Florida and Georgia having losses on their own right off tiebreakers when you're playing the likes of Alabama and the entire West schedule. The tiebreakers could fall in a certain way that Kentucky, once the dust clears, finds their way on top of the division despite not being the best team. And we've seen that in the past. With Missouri winning the East after getting goose-egged 38-0 by Georgia earlier in the regular season. The East is not always the best team wins, and I think the 10-game schedule is going to exacerbate that.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks in the SEC, at least the first week. I don't want to get into too far of who's most likely to be upset in week 1. Because I also feel like I don't like that answer. That would come from that. But
That's true.
the SEC is definitely in a great position to bounce back, and we're going to see a lot of fun teams. For a lot of people, college football starts this week because we get to see the meat of the ACC schedule, along with the SEC coming back, and then the next week after that, we'll start seeing a lot of good games.
To be
A lot
fair,
of
my upset pick would not be Kentucky over Auburn. It would 100% be South Carolina over Tennessee.
really.
Yes.
I mean,
South Carolina has a new quarterback from Colorado State. He can sling it, and Tennessee has a awful secondary.
yeah, I could see that.
Fox by
Um,
90.
Actually, my upset pick would be Vanderbilt over Texas A&M. Yeah, I've got Vanderbilt winning by 40. So
No, A&M's
that's
going to start 5-0 and then finish 8-4. As is,
that's as is the standard. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
A&M's all about tradition, and they got a great one right there. Starting 5-0, finishing 8-4.
Also, something I don't think we are, I think we're taking maybe for granted is Mac Jones and Alabama just being fine, because Bama's been fine for so many years with their quarterbacks transitioning in to the next generation and whatnot and the next starter. But I mean, I'm not going to say we're going to have a Jeremy Johnson situation where Mac Jones is going to be so much worse than he was in the limited playing time we saw him in, but he could. I mean, he's not going to be better than Tua, and he's not going to be better than Jalen Hurts probably. So I think that could really affect that team throughout the year. Plus, again, their defense is not as good as it's been in the past.
look,
Yes, but at the same time, when you're dealing with a team like Alabama, and I think we saw shades of this in the Iron Bowl, and the reason I picked Alabama to win the Iron Bowl is the fact that when you have the receiving core that Alabama has, you could throw a tackle sled in the pocket and still pass for 400 yards. It's about the receivers, not the quarterback. If you're Alabama,
That's true.
and
We-
I just
They did
don't.
lose too.
They lost 2, but I mean,
yeah, they gained 3. So
it's like
I mean,
it's like a shark's mouth. You pop 2 teeth out, 3 are there to replace it. So I
That
don't
sounds
see
good.
I don't see Bama getting winded by the loss of Ruggs or the loss of Jacobs, or is Waddle still around? It really doesn't matter because they're 4 deep at every position.
like
That's
for Alabama,
fair.
I mean, Alabama easily can walk back into the college football playoffs with Mac Jones, and I have no reason to doubt that. Yeah, he lost the Iron Bowl, but he still put up pretty solid numbers, and then he went and I believe he just picked apart Michigan in the bowl game. So
Yeah, but that's Michigan.
it's still a decent enough Michigan team.
Uh,
It's not like he's going around beating down on like Vanderbilt or somebody.
I mean,
Davis, do you need to do like laundry or something?
No, this is for the jersey I'm wearing.
Oh,
Just playing with it.
okay. Well, is there anything else we need to mention before we get out of here?
honestly, I think we covered it all pretty well.
Well, I guess that does
Yeah.
it for.
I mean, FPI likes Ohio State to win the title now that the
Yeah,
Big
that's
Ten
probably
is
because Kirk Herbstreit actually coded FPI.
awful.
When in doubt,
I'm not listening to Kirk Herbstreit anymore.
hold up. Wait. This reminds me.
After his we're not playing football in the fall take back in April.
Yeah, that was tough. I do remember that. Also, did y'all see Desmond Howard's like college football playoff picks?
He picked Oklahoma State, right?
Yeah, it was Oklahoma
Oh
State.
my gosh. Yeah, he picked Oklahoma State to make it to the national championship and beat Clemson. Not to win, but to beat Clemson to get to the national title game.
I mean, look. As a man who loves his takes to be hot, I appreciate it. But boy, that's
I
hot.
can't stand Desmond Howard.
That's hot.
Jared, you mentioned. I think we can end on this. Is that you just mentioned you're a man, and we'll turn the clock back to September 22nd, 2007. On this day, Mike Gundy's amazing "I'm a man, I'm 40" rant entered the Hall of Fame as one of the legendary coach press conferences.
And to this day, we'll see.
Gundy continues to bring it. Did you see him trying to operate the microphone at halftime last week? He was having a boomer moment. It was hilarious.
In fairness, Mans was definitely already angry because his team was barely beating Tulsa. So, or at least was it Tulsa?
We're gonna see how much of a man he is when West Virginia comes in on their banjos, and they're gonna try
spoils
to
the
beat
college
them
football
down.
playoff party for Desmond Howard.
Yeah,
I mean, how could he?
and I don't think
West Virginia's offense looks great. I mean, granted, they were playing. I don't even know, but I don't even know who that was. But they look great.
I'm gonna see who it was.
They're playing.
Come on, Jared, you got it.
It wasn't Austin P, was it? I don't think it was.
Eastern Kentucky, but they have the same logo as Austin P, like
Pretty
generic
much.
Boy man.
Yeah, West Virginia they rushed for 329 yards and threw for 295 as well.
Hey. And you know who's leading? You know who's leading the charge as the head coach ever at West Virginia?
Who is it?
What do you mean? Who is it?
I can't remember.
It's a homeboy from UAB.
Neil Brown.
Yep.
From UAB, really?
Yeah, we went there. What, last year?
I've forgotten about that.
Hey, State Alabama represent.
He's from Troy, Jared.
He's from Troy. Wow.
That's a. What did I say?
You said UAB.
Oh, Troy UAB, like the same thing in my head.
Old take.
But to end the show, just a reminder that Carson Wentz was booed at home with no fans. So just wanna bring that
classy
up.
Philly.
And if they're not careful, Jalen Hurts may be the starting quarterback in Philadelphia before too long.
Oh God.
That will be interesting.
Hey, you said that.
Then he'll be behind no line.
Yeah.
I was about to say, none of it matters if they have no offensive line.
All right, well, that does it for the Extra Point today. It's been a fun one. Alex, do you want another rendition of Happy Birthday before we go?
I would rather watch Washington go 1-15 for the rest of the year.
Isn't that already going to happen?
That's your birthday wish may come true.
Yeah. So
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Dreams do come true, Alex.
Alex, if you knew that us singing Happy Birthday would mean Washington would win out the rest of the season and go 15-1, would you sit through it again?
Yes.
All right, that means we're not.
Wait, should we let Alex say anything since it is his birthday? Just like finish it off for us.
Yeah, Alex, how about you close the show? I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up and dribble. All right, you close the show.
All right. Well, it's been great. Back to you, Jared.
put more effort into it. Come on, close the show.
I don't have anything to say to close the show.
Alex,
I need a
it's
script.
not that hard. Just, you thank everybody for being here, and then you say we'll see you tomorrow. Is that so
Except
hard?
I won't see them tomorrow because I won't be on the show tomorrow.
Alex, why do you make this so hard? You know what?
What?
There we go.
Yeah.
Alright, so, for Davis Carroll and Jack Hart, I'm Jared Dillard saying thank you for joining us at Extra Point here on WEGL 911 and WEGLFM.com. Also for Alex, who had his birthday, but I kicked him out because honestly, I'm just tired of him. So, no, Lord.
See you tomorrow, Jared.
Hold up.
Adios. Oh,
He
here
came back
he is.
in.
We're back.
Alright,
Jared,
Did you just lose connection or something, Alex? That was weird.
Yeah, just a glitch in the system actually.
Weird morning.
Do you want to end the show yet, Alex?
Sure. Why
Come on.
not?
Do it.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us on the Extra Point on WGL 91.1. We'll see you next time, I guess. Hopefully Washington will actually have a win by then. And yeah, thank you, Davis, Jared, and Jack also for joining as well. Except not Davis. Actually, I take that back.
That was horrible, but we'll get him next
Yeah.
time.
I know.
All right,
Yeah, exactly.
so-
I knew it was going to be. I warned you.
For
you.
Davis
Crickets
Carroll,
came in
Jack
too, it was
Hart,
crazy.
and Alex Houston, I'm Jared Doe saying thank you for joining us at Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 FM and WEGLFM.com.